Short sales, where the bank accepts less than the total amount still owed on the mortgage when a homeowner sells his or her house. They've been growing in popularity since 2009. But folks thinking about selling their own home by short sale, as well as people thinking about buying a short sale, should know the process may come to a screeching halt soon. And here with everything you need to know is Fox 29 common sense lawyer Shari Olefson. Hi, Shari. Thank you so much for being here. Good to see you. Well, we heard a lot of complaints for the longest time about how frustrating it was to work with banks on a foreclosure.
Big time.
What happened to change that?
Well, most of us first learned about short sales with the Home Affordable Foreclosure Alternative program that the Obama administration came out with a few years ago. And of course, the paperwork was unwieldy. There just weren't people in place to process that system. The eligibility requirements didn't meet real world needs. But over time, that was tweaked. So that program, we're not hearing near as many complaints anymore. That program is working pretty well. In addition to that, we had a lot of folks who were homeowners who thought they were going to get modifications or who thought their home value would go back up and are really fatiguing, and they're now looking at short sales as a possibility. We have a whole army of realtors now, of course, who are trained as short sale professionals. Banks also are realizing sometimes they can get more from a short sale than foreclosing. And the biggie, John, was the Attorney General investigation and also the RoboSigner scandal, because both of those ended with requirements, legal requirements, that the banks process a certain number of short sales. So as a result, the short sale process has really become a viable part of our life. Right,
that woke a lot of people up, those last two in particular. So what exactly are some of the changes? How are short sales different today than they were?
They're very different. I mean, the biggest commonality, a lot of buyers realize you can still get about a 20% discount. But for example, you can now do a short sale on an investment property, which wasn't possible before. Then this past summer, the bank started paying huge sums of money to encourage people to do short sales, sometimes $30,000 or $40,000, and paying money to tenants too, sometimes to do short sales. Some of these programs no longer require that you miss a payment, which is huge, because you don't have to ruin your credit score in order to do a short sale. So there are some really big.
That was happening a lot.
Yeah, it was an obstacle. If you wanted to do a short sale, you didn't want to have to ruin your credit to do it.
All right. So if the kinks have been worked out pretty much and the short sales are working so much better for buyers and sellers these days, and even the banks to a certain extent, then why is there talk of short sales ending?
Well, and this is a biggie. This is something both sellers and buyers need to be aware of. These programs were not written to last forever. So many of the bank programs, for example, expire December 31st of this year. If your bank is operating under one of those programs and you don't have your short sale all locked up by that time, you may not be able to do a short sale if it's not extended. But the biggie is the Mortgage Debt Forgiveness Relief Act. And that was an act that President Bush signed into place so that when the bank forgives money, you don't have to pay income tax on the money they've forgiven. Without that act, you owe income tax just like any other income to the IRS on the money that the bank forgives, which is a huge obstacle. Because remember, as a homeowner, you'd probably way rather owe money and be in debt to your bank than to the IRS.
Oh, absolutely.
If that act is allowed to expire, we can expect a lot of folks who would have done short sales to not do short sales anymore. So someone who's thinking about short selling may want to get off the fence and do it. If you're looking to buy a short sale, now might be the right time to do that.
Before the end of the year.
Absolutely. 6 weeks to go. That's it.
Before you know it, we'll be saying Happy New Year. All right. Well, thank you so much, Shari. We'll see you next time around.
Thanks, John.
All right. Let's go back over to Mike at the news desk.